Project A, I mean Valorant, the game that is if CSGO and Overwatch had a baby. A tactical FPS that has crab peaks and an amazing community. The main reason I got into this game was its competitive nature and the fact that it was built with ranked in mind, unlike other competitive games that are just as cringe. Ranked is sadly filled to the brim with dummies, poo-poo heads, and the occasional normal person. But if you want to climb the ranked ladder, you have to get good, so you look up how to do that, but all you see is a repeated vague guide or a sexy man's with 9,000 power and Bonkai. But in one corner of the internet is a bunch of born annas that want to see you improve, and the nerd above it all is Woohoojin. Disclaimer, skip to this part if you don't want to have any information about why I'm making this video. Just go ahead and skip here. But if you do want to hear about my little rant, then stick around. Before I say anything, I want to make it very clear that I am not a professional nor a coach, so do not take what I say in this video to heart, as this is my story and everyone is unique, so keep that in mind going forward. I started watching Woohoojin when I was hard suck silver, and slowly with time, I got around to taking in the potassium that was no-scoped into my brain, but it was a journey in itself, as I had many bad habits, and I still have some. But this video is going over my mistakes and what I learned, so that I can share my journey with whoever wants to see where I came from. The video is also formatted in a way that you make a playbook, so each segment starts off with defense and then moves on to attack. Along with that, my footage is also pretty scuffed as it is old, so I do apologize in advance. But without further ado, let's banana split right into this video. Starting off the STD speedrun, I mean Silver to Diamond, we are in Silver 1, and like many people in Silver, I am doo-doo stinky at the game. But our journey starts off in Lotus. Now, I know this is the old Lotus, and the setup is pretty much just the same thing, but man, what am I doing in this setup? I'm not using Viper to her full capabilities on this map, and to explain that further, let me show you the two setups that I use and that I've seen Radiants use when they play Viper and Lotus. And I know that the map design has changed, but the concept is again still the same. Setup 1 is pretty easy, and it's what's worked for me best when I was learning how to play Viper better on this map. Because all you do is line up with this wall, like the ninja taper fade, and then you run to C with the orb, in which case you can throw it like this for a stall or throw it for retake. So either or. Setup 2 is what I've been using more lately for when I do play Viper and Lotus, as this wall is really good for retaking C, and also just spooking your enemy and bend. But you can also use the orb to stall on C, or save it for defusing the bomb on either B or A. Alright, starting off with an A hit. This wall is in my opinion. Not my first choice of wall, but given the circumstance, I want to say it's alright. To be fair, I do not know the full story of this game, but let's just go ahead and cut to the C hit. For being solo smokes here, I kind of give the pass to Silver Me, but even then it's like, what's the plan for this? Whoa, lucky right click though. Skipping on to Silver 3, I must have been really lucky in my special stats, because what is the game plan here? What are these walls? Alright, I need to show off the defensive strats that I learned from the Woohoojin study that he did on Xander. This is the setup I mostly saw used on default, but depending on the scenario, you could change the wall to be thrown like this and use it to be a retake with your orb. Do we see the differences from both rounds here? Like, I know there's a lot to take in and just as much wrong, but a thing that I noticed while watching this older footage is that I wouldn't change something unless it just didn't work for me anymore. And I think a lot of people develop those bad habits that way. And that's where a lot of people see that they are stuck, but just don't know the why. Banana splitting right into attack, it looks like I'm just throwing the wall straight across heaven on both spike sites, in which being solo controller is... yes, the noob tactic of sit in the corner and pray. And in reality, it's an alright plan, as I was looking for the rotate kill, but I got lucky and got 2 here. Moving along, and onto bind, you'd assume that based off my previous setups that I'd have a just as confusing setup, but it looks like I sorta have the right idea on defense. In which case, I especially love the molly under hookah and the cringe orb pickups. Sadly, you can't do this anymore. I'm not gonna lie, this was a toss, but somehow we won because the enemy team threw even harder. Now, if I was to play Viper, there isn't much I would change other than if I'm solo controller, maybe throw a setup from lamps and then have the orb on A site, but I can't really say a whole lot as I'm no brush. Unlike defense, my bind attack is just awful. There were several rounds I didn't even throw a wall, and then when I did, they looked janky, and it really just showed that I didn't have any prep for attack on this map, in which case I'd recommend doing if you do want to improve in the game. I am never Haven a good time on this map, and it makes sense. Haven isn't really a good Viper map, even though she's featured on the Omega incursion. Honestly, looking back on a lot of my footage, the two setups I stuck with were one of these two, but even then, they both have their faults, as they both leave at least one area without any smokes, such as Garage having a complete opening, or A being kind of just there. For A, I threw the wall from Stinky Sewers, and for C, it was as simple as just eating that fucker straight across and then pray for the best. Going over the clip, I really want to address that this peak here should and would have gotten me killed, but because we're all silver, we all suck, and it looks like I have plot armor. Grinding my way into gold 1, and just look at this lineup and the subscribe button. Like, this Molly lineup stalls for enough time for me to be able to run from garden to CT and throw my orb if we didn't really have a secondary smoke. Oh yeah, this is the wall that I used in defense. It isn't as cool as the lineup that I learned, but it's there. It's all right. Now, attacking was a different story as the walls are janky, and even with videos that I watched, they kind of just don't work. I mean, it worked for a while until I switched to another agent down the road that we totally didn't see last video. Looks like it's round 2 on bind, and not much has changed in the setup, but this time the wall went through the teleporter, so I did a good job, I guess. Now, with a map where Viper's meta, you'd think I'd have a decent... Wrong. I mean, I sorta have the right idea, just not the right spot. Like, why am I throwing it from tunnel? Okay, this part is just funny as hell, not gonna lie, because making people mad, I know isn't the purpose of this video, but I thought it was pretty funny to include. But this also shows that I really only played B on Breeze, and it was simply just because I didn't like the doors and mid to A as Viper. It felt awkward to me. Taking a stroll on to attack, I love it because it just feels so simple to me. Like, mid has always been my bitch, and it's so easy to contest mid and just be a little rat because this map is just so big, and it was really easy to be a rat and be a silly little boy that actually had impact because of how Breeze is made. The only thing I can really say to my previous self is that the wall for A was really open for everyone to play around instead of just being close to the right city. All right, we get to go on actual VOD footage because the last 3 games before I hit Diamond, I recorded it, in which case I want to go over those more in depth instead of just glossing over the footage like I have been doing. And it looks like we're starting the journey off on Haven. I'm going to set up a retake smoke on C. Now, I love that I was already thinking of playing retake on C and making the call in team chat, but it looked like I was just really confused on how to play around my smoke here, just like the enemy team though. I'm gonna try denying plant. I'm denying plant, Molly. As much as I just praise myself for the comm right there, I'm really not liking my comms in general though, because so far I'm calling my wall like at last second, not reading minimap as much as I should be doing, but we're up 5 rounds so far, so it's all right. But I just want to make a note on that for everyone. Going into round 6 with half my team's ults online, we should start cycling those to win even more. So after hearing a bit of noise and some contact C long, I rip my Viper's pit, while also telling my team that Garage is now open. Why is Sova fighting that? Don't peek that. No.
Who wants to run mid with me?
If only I had...
No. They have money to buy shit. No. Don't throw. Sova, use your utility! What are you watching? Average Jonas right now? Now, I'm a little cranky moving forward as little mistakes keep on adding up, and it's affecting my mental really bad, which is going to affect my gameplay because damn, I got sat down We win a few more rounds, but I do notice that we lose garage control, so I changed the setup to this, which I don't really agree with. Because even if they did get that garage control, the enemy team just didn't know what to do after that, as we were just diffing them so much. Going into attack, though, we lost 5 rounds in a row on a 5v4 on Haven, of all maps. And even with that, we barely won our 6th round. But after that, we ran it down A and ended with a knife. Sadly, I did score the end of this game, but I was 2 RR off of the rank up, so we go again. Going into the next game, it looks like we're playing what Pat and Jin did and split. Anyway, as you guys can see, I still was doing the dog shit wall, as I had yet to study the pro VOD yet. Again, if you want to rank up, I recommend doing that. Study the pros in their ranked games. Looking at the first quarter of the game, I was kind of just there, not doing much for the team, which just goes to show how bad the setup is. After losing with the Dookie wall setup, I changed it to this, which is kind of like the wall I showed you guys earlier, but thrown from a different spot. It has a little bit of a gap, but we'll talk more about that later. Now, I played this poorly, as you can see, and gave really late comms to my team, which led to chaos for everyone. And because of that, I thought the wall was just bad and went to go to throw the even worse wall. Like, this ult here is kind of meh, you know, like, it's alright, but it would have been better to save it for retake instead of having it for mid, because the enemy team didn't push mid a whole lot so far. Along with that, it feels like I'm on autopilot with how I'm just throwing the mollies out in the open with no plan for what to do next. Now, I'm back to the better wall, but not even I know why I'm going back and forth between the 2 walls or to tell my team what I'm doing, which is really bad if you're playing controller. Always tell your team what you're doing so that way they can try to play around it quicker. Ooh, silent drop onto ropes. That's stylish. And I walk into the spam. Never mind. Moving on to attack, just like before, I really just throw the wall straight and then blast out in the open pretty much. Going into B on our buy round and their save wasn't the best idea, but I'm glad I called out the reset after getting a kill and 2 of our people dying. Bad IGL moment, but you live and you learn the hard way sometimes. Slowly, this game was really destroying my mental, and I lost it because after losing this round... Fucking A, man, God fucking damn it! This bitch needs to fucking push with me! It got to a point where I stopped talking and playing the game on autopilot, which case is a very bad thing to do because never back down and never give up. And because I gave up, I was essentially tossing the game and we lost. But it's redemption time, and this time I made sure to learn from my mistakes.
Hold on, no one's holding mid, they killed the girl. I threw a molly in there. Did you get any blind? Yeah, he did. I'm with you, Omen.
Looking at this clip, I make the Gigabrain read on the rotate to get a kill, but in the end, I didn't take my time on the KJ and just died for free. Oh my goodness, 1 tap, and I'm sat down immediately. Going into attack, it seems like history is repeating itself, but this time, I'm not geeking out, I'm nerding out.
Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Dead.
Last player standing. Spike down mid.
They just get better as they're...
It's practically a 2v1.
Reach is really weak.
One enemy remaining.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Shit, bro.
Attack.
Holy shit, man.
World's greatest Viper main. Oh my god, totally.
And with that last little bit, I'm the world's greatest Viper main. Well, not really. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and hopefully I can keep uploading once every 2 weeks, but again, no promises. If you want to come and chat with me, I will hopefully be streaming more soon, and I also have that work in progress Discord server. Both of those are linked in the description below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this far, and I'll see you guys later.